Welcome to another episode of Bushcraft Brews. I'm Hitch.
I'm Wally.
And we are here again. We got some cool stuff coming up here. But first, I couldn't wait. I'm going to crack open this Cape May Stout, which I know we've had before, but I'm sure you guys don't care.
Not at all. It's starting off things a little bit different at this episode. Drinking the beer in the first half. Bold move, Sean, but with a beer like this, you have to. This is one of my all-time favorites so far. And I've only had it a couple of times, but it's just life-changing.
It's such a terrible... Look at this pour. That is so bad. Oh, my God. Rookie. All right.
I'd like to, maybe one episode in the future, we could break down the science of, why that happens and everything, because, what happens to the beer? You pour out a certain amount, and then some of it turns to foam and just disappears. I know, right? I'm guessing it all comes back to beer eventually.
I wonder how much beer is wasted, too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just thinking, at a bar, let's just say. how much beer is wasted on the foam and maybe bad pours. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Yes, so...
Because I had a half a cup, but now I don't. So...
And you can see the foam kind of fizzling away a little bit at a time.
That's good.
So look forward to a future article on the Bushcraft Brews podcast.
Sweet. Well, listen, we got some cool things coming up. Number one, I am taking a trip to Yosemite in California, and we are flying there. And we said, you know what, we're going to go to Yosemite. We'll stay in an Airbnb outside of Yosemite, and we'll have a good time. And then we realized the Airbnbs are an hour away from Yosemite's entrance, and in order to get a good spot, I would say, at a hike in Yosemite, you have to be there before the sun rises. So we said, well, why don't we camp?
Good idea. Good idea.
So we're going to pack one suitcase with all our camping stuff and the other suitcase with the rest of our things. And that should be an exciting trip, I think.
For sure. First question I have about the Yosemite trip before we get to anything else is, are you going to free solo El Cap? And when are you going to do it?
Absolutely. I'm going to do it. I think I'm already ready. I have my, what's the tent thing that they use when they sleep halfway up the side of a mountain?
It's a portalage.
Yeah, that's bullshit. I hate those things because why? I would be scared shitless. There's no way I'm sleeping in that thing. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stay as far away from that as possible. So, yeah, no, super excited. We've already run into some things that we realized, wow, this isn't a trip that we're going to be driving to. We can't bring all the stuff we would normally bring on a camping trip. So now we're going to really narrow down here, which I think will help us when we go to do our first backpacking trip. Because we're so limited in what we can bring. So now we feel all right, well, if this is what we could bring to a trip across the country, I'm sure we could bring this on a backpacking trip that we're only driving a couple hours to.
Right. It helps you not learn, but introduce the backpacking format way of doing things, and realizing when you go car camping, you can stuff that car full of everything and anything that you might need. You bring 2 tents, 3 tents if you really want to, 5 chairs, whatever you want to bring, all the food in the world. But when you fly out to California for a camping trip, you are super limited on extra equipment, food, just all kinds of different things that you might want to bring that now have to get left at home. So what's your plan for food, actually? I would like to know that a little bit.
Yeah, so normally, and as you know, we bring eggs for breakfast. We bring usually we'll bring what are the backpackers, what's the food?
Backpacker?
Why can't I think of what it's called?
Backcountry
pantry.
Backpackers pantry.
That's the one. Backpackers pantry. Normally we'll bring some of those. We'll actually bring a carton of eggs in our cooler that we could keep cold for a couple days. And that's it for the most part. We'll bring coffee grounds, and we have a glass French press. We bring our whole pot and pan set. That's gonna be nice. Well, you know what? Now what we're doing, we're only packing the backpackers pantry. We bought a metal French press so we could travel with it and not get, scared about it breaking. And coffee grounds. And that's it. That's going to be it. We plan on stopping at a Walmart when we land. and we're gonna get snacks like candy. We're gonna get granola bars, and we'll probably buy a pack of the Uncrustables.
Nice.
Yeah. So
those come in clutch.
yeah, and I guess it's still a little like, I don't want to say cheating, but there's a Walmart right there, so we don't have to necessarily pack like. We have that luxury of having a Walmart, so
Well, that's what you should be doing. Every every piece of space in your suitcase that isn't food, you can now pack an extra shirt or jacket or
right. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
whatever it is. Socks, underwear. You're gonna need every garment of clothing that you can bring.
Yeah, so that's why we're exactly, and I understand what you're trying to say is like you have to save as much room as you can in your suitcase. In the suitcase we're packing with our camping things. So everything that we could get there while we're there, we might as well do that. So we're gonna buy all our water there. We ended up buying so the showers in Yosemite are closed because of COVID. So we bought one of the ones you hang from a tree, and you just fill it up with water, and you're gonna have to do like a quick body shower in that sense. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting. It's gonna be a fun vacation. Let me think. What else? We bought a backpacking tent because we realized our big old tent, our mansion-sized tent that we normally go on trips with, is just way too big to
Literally,
fit.
we go on trips and they're standing up in their tent,
Yeah.
getting changed, standing up in a tent.
It's about as comfortable as a tent can be, I think. We got in this one and we realized, oh my God, it literally only our bodies fit in this tent. And it was kind of a good feeling though. Like, you don't have as much space, but it's almost like in the other one you had more space than you needed, So we bought a much lighter, more compact backpacking tent from REI. I forget exactly which one it was, but it was only like $160. Super easy to set up. It's still the same amount of protection, I guess if you want to call it, as our regular tent, which we only bought for $50 from Sierra. So far that's going pretty smooth. The only issue we have is now that the tent is smaller, I realized that our sleeping pads don't fit side by side in the tent. You kind of have to stack them on top of one another. So now I'm struggling trying to find a sleeping pad, which I think we're going to do a double, that will fit in the tent.
Yeah, that's a tough situation because, you already have nice sleeping pads that you bought for the last tent that fit in that tent, right? So now it's like, oh, I got a new tent, and I want to use my sleeping pad that I love and I bought and I spent a lot of money on, but it doesn't fit in my new tent. So it's kind of the weird situation where, like, I want to have a nice sleeping pad that I'm not uncomfortable, but I don't know if I'm going to be using this for more than once.
It's like, it's hard picking out a sleeping pad and picking out this equipment. We've talked about it before. It's like, you don't have to go out and spend $1 million, but you also you want to be smart on what you're buying. You also don't want to regret buying a sleeping pad or a tent or whatever it is. So again, when you're searching for these things, it can be difficult, and that's why doing research is very, very smart. Shout out to Gabby. We have to do some research. The other issue is that the sleeping pads that we're looking for, because we're not looking to go out and spend $200 or $300, there's not a lot of reviews. So that is the hurdle that we're currently at. I hope to have an update for you next episode on whether we got one, what brand we got, and how much we like it. But yeah, that's pretty exciting, and pretty much all I got for that trip so far.
Honestly, like, exciting gearhead talk. That's the kind of stuff that we love on this podcast, like the dilemma of sleeping mats and sleeping bags and tents. And
I guess I could go through what we're bringing so far. So what we have packed so far for this Yosemite trip, and we're staying in Yosemite for 3 nights. We're camping. So we have our backpacking tent. We packed a tarp. We packed 2 compact chairs. The really small ones, they pop up, and we packed those. We packed our camping stove, which is tiny. So far, we have 4 of those backpackers pantry meals.
Nice.
We have 4 of those packed. Let me think. I have a rubber mallet
Oh, rubber mallet is actually valuable.
Yep. I got I think that's it. I think that's it
Nice.
so far. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. Oh, and we have the metal French press.
Right.
So yeah, so far, I mean, that's pretty minimalistic for us at least. Usually we pack. I mean, we have a SUV filled with things just for us. So normally we pack a lot of things. So to fit all this into just one suitcase
Is a monumental task.
it's definitely challenging. On top of that, navigating Yosemite during COVID has been very interesting because, first of all, just last year, we were planning on doing this last year. Just last year, you had to get a pass in advance to enter the park. Now you don't have to do that. They're only allowing a certain amount of people to do some hikes. Not all of them, but some of them. They're only allowing a certain amount of people to do. So you have to kind of enter a lottery to do the hike. So we don't even know what day we're doing. We plan on doing Half Dome. We don't even know what day we're doing that yet. So it's just been pretty interesting to kind of navigate this time. And then there's, getting a campsite in Yosemite is difficult in normal
For sure.
times. Well, there's like 3 or 4 campsites that are closed because of COVID. So now you have 3 or 4 less campsites that you can book.
For everybody who's trying to go to Yosemite is a national destination.
Oh my
Obviously,
God.
We live in New Jersey.
They book out. We had to book our campsite 5 months in advance.
And that probably still, just barely getting it.
Oh yeah, there were 3 sites available when I went online. I booked one. I realized it was, it was a walking tent site, walk-to tent site rather. So you have to park it's not far. It's like 25 feet away. I refreshed the page to see if I could get one that wasn't a walk-to site, and they were all gone.
Wow.
Just like that. I mean, within I would say 2 or 3 minutes, gone.
Just like that. And that just shows you, not only is it just a destination spot, but they're that much harder to get in these COVID times because it's so appealing to travel right now, even though, there's restrictions on travel and they tell you to stay home and quarantine. You can go to Yosemite and quarantine, and it's one of the most appealing things because you can be out by yourself quarantining, in the wilderness or
right
in Yosemite Valley.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we're going to be exposed at the airport
right.
and during the flight, but that's really it. Then you're camping and you're on your own, So that's definitely it is. You're right. It's a cool way to get out and experience the world without being around or involved with a million people. The other cool thing, and the reason why we got into camping, is because the money you save is incredible. So I told you we were going to book an Airbnb, which we did originally book an Airbnb. Well, our Airbnb was $500.
That's a stupid price.
$500 for 3 nights at this Airbnb, right? Plus $1,000 deposit.
Wow.
Right. So the deposit was more than our stay was even. Of course, you get that back, but you got to dish out $1,000 just to stay there. $500 cost. We are camping for $78.
Nice.
So we were gonna pay $500. Instead, we pay $78.
And you get to wake up in the valley.
Right.
You get to wake up and look at El Cap right there. Half Dome is you're seeing the sunrise over the wall, and it's one of the coolest things you could ever experience.
I gotta tell you, I am beyond excited, and I can't wait. And it just goes to show that you can travel, you can see anything, and that's kind of why we started this podcast, because that's the point in hiking and camping is you could go out, man, you could see so many cool things, and it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. It really doesn't. You're talking $78 for 3 nights.
For one of the most memorable experiences that you'll have for the rest of your life.
And right now, flights are cheaper than ever. Mm-hmm. So you really, I don't
want to tell you to travel during these times, but take advantage and go somewhere where you can at least keep your distance from people. Maybe not on the plane or in the airport, but do what you can when you're in those situations, and do what you can when you get there.
Look, if you're comfortable, yeah, go do it. 10 out of 10, recommend. It's been really fun to plan, and I'm excited to tell more as we go through this and as we continue to plan, and then even after it's over and we come back, I'm excited to talk all about it. I'm sure I'm gonna have plenty of stories.
Yeah, I'm excited about that too. And before I move on to our next beer, I just want to give some love again to this Cape May coffee stout. Again, I told you before, one of my favorite beers ever. I really cannot get enough of this beer. Conditioned on a locally roasted custom blend. Cannot say enough great things about this beer. The Cape May coffee stout from Cape May Brewing Company. And this sound is brought to you by Double Nickel.
Oh, I like that. Is that a new tagline? I kind of like that. This sound is brought to you by, and then say the brewery. That's phenomenal. Shout out to Double Nickel.
Very excited. Look at that pour.
That's actually a really good pour. Damn you. All right, let's see what I got. I wish you could hear the pouring sound.
So we're drinking the Double Nickel IPA, I believe, right?
Yeah, it's a Double Nickel IPA, session IPA. Oop.
And it's no Cape May coffee stout, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, and I think we've had this before. I'm sure we have. We've done Double Nickel a couple times. They're good. They have good beer all around. And right now they're doing a really good job with COVID and making people feel comfortable. You can sit inside. They come to your table rather than you going up and ordering. So they'll come around to your table. You can sit inside, outside now that it's spring, and it's getting a little bit warmer out. So shout out to Double Nickel.
Sweet. I guess one of the last topics that I wanted to talk about before we wrap things up is the race that I'm signed up for this weekend. I am super excited to do not only the first bike racing that's happened since the world ended. My first bike racing, I guess since I graduated high school. I haven't really done a lot of bike racing since. I got more into other sports. I got more into other hobbies since then. I ended up coming back around and falling in love with it again. And I'm now signed up for my first mountain bike race ever, which wow. I'm super excited about.
Is that this weekend?
Yeah, that's this Saturday.
Nice. That's
this
awesome.
Saturday. I know it's my first race, but I am signed up for the Cat 2 category. Mountain biking is weird. You can sign up for any category you want to, despite being an amateur in the sport. So even though I've never done a mountain bike race before, I could sign up for the Pro 1 men's if I wanted to. And there's nobody stopping you from doing that. You can race up as much as you want. You just can't race down. So I would get my shit kicked in.
Yeah.
If I did the P1, the Pro 1 men's race. But it's just nice to know there's nothing stopping you from going in and challenging yourself a little bit more.
So what does training for a mountain biking race? Mountain bike race?
Yeah.
Okay. What does that entail? What do you go through? What are you doing to prepare for it?
There's a number of things actually. Not only is it a lot of on the bike work, just riding your bike in specific zones. We like to the way that you measure cycling training is by power in watts. So you train in different zones according to your goal event. So I've been doing a lot of punchy efforts up in zone 5, zone 6, more 30-30s on and off, VO2 max work and everything like that. And then I do a fair amount of weightlifting as well, because I think that if you're on the mountain bike, being able to move the bike, manipulate it, and turn it in different ways, and take routes and rock gardens in stride, and just roll over that kind of stuff, is the result of good strength training. And then as well as just riding my mountain bike on trail and being confident in the features that I'm going to ride over.
Oh, shit. Yeah, and I'm wondering, because I don't know much about mountain biking, and you always try to get me to do it, but I'm like, I don't know, I don't want to run into a tree.
I think if you did that, you would realize it's not all that scary as it looks scary when you see like the highlights of a sport of like the best people doing it very fast. But just remember, like, you only have to go as fast as you feel comfortable going, and the brake is right there for you all the time.
Yeah, but like you say, like, and I've heard your brother say it too, that like the most, I guess, fun or exciting part is like when you almost eat shit or when you almost hit a tree. So like that doesn't make me excited because that means I almost have to hit a tree in order to have fun.
Um,
I don't think I want to do
okay,
that.
so like yeah, when you save it and like you're kind of like carrying a lot of speed into a tight corner and you're just like wondering how you're gonna make this tight turn. And it's like, you're going maybe 16, 17 miles an hour on trail, and it's a 90-degree turn. How are you going to make that turn? And then you do it, and you just come out of there with all the speed and confidence, and knowing that you just ripped that turn. It's just like a great feeling. I can't explain it any other ways, and exhilarating.
Listen, look, I'm not here to judge. I think I would try it, but I'd be going slow. Like I'd probably be a little nervous for
Yeah,
sure.
like understandable. I was nervous, the first time I ever went out on a mountain bike, as most people should be. It's, if you've never done it before, it's scary. Because you're going really fast, right past trees. You're going really fast, like right past things that could flip your bike over if you're not doing it properly. So, I mean, you have the right to be scared. It's something to not take lightly.
All right. Lastly, what do you think? What's like the essential, the bare minimum you would need to start mountain biking? Like I'm just okay. I'm somebody. Yeah, I'm listening to this podcast. I'm like, oh, that sounds fun. I want to hit some trees. What do I do? What do I go out and get to hit the trails and just start riding?
um,
I have nothing
is
at this
this
point, mind you.
okay? Well, I don't want it to be like um, obvious, but I mean, you need a mountain bike.
Right. Okay. But is there so? I guess I'll be a little bit more specific. Like, do you need like top notch brands or like can you go to Walmart and get like a mountain bike there and just kind of roll with it to start?
So, I would say that you don't need like you do need top-notch brands, I think. I would not buy a bike from Walmart. If you take that bike on trail, it'd probably fall apart on you in the first maybe 30 minutes of the ride, 40 minutes. And then if not, maybe the next ride or the ride after that, it's done. Something's going to break. It's just not going to be rideable anymore. And it's just not going to be as smooth of a ride as if you got like a giant bike or a specialized entry-level mountain bike. And like I know they're, top tier brands, but it's not like you have to spend like huge amounts of money to get an entry level mountain bike. You can get a nice entry level new mountain bike, never ridden before, for around $500-600 starting price point. And then from there, you need like other things: helmet, shoes, gloves, glasses, all that stuff.
All right, and I'll go back to the bikes. So, what kind of shoes do you need?
It's really all preference. I use clipless shoes, so um, my feet, like I clip into the pedal, and my feet are stuck on the pedals. Um, I love that. I've been riding that since I started mountain biking when I was really young. But I know people who like flat pedals, and the flat pedals have, I guess you could call them like tiny little spikes on them, and the downhill shoes that they wear, like they're also mountain bike shoes. Um, the bottom is receptive to the pedals, so the metal spikes on the flat pedals actually fit into certain grooves on the flat pedal, so like it's kind of works the same way.
But
But
you're
there
not
is still risk of your foot like
falling
moving,
off.
yeah, falling off of that. Where if you're riding clipless pedals, you could ride through like the gnarliest rock garden, and your foot is not going to come off that pedal.
Okay. All right, and last. All right, I know I said last before, but this is actually the last. So, what kind of brand or what brand of bike do you use and why?
I'm riding a Trek Top Fuel, um, to Top Fuel X7, and the only reason that I chose this specific brand and model bike is just because of the deal that we came across. I bought it used, so when you come across like a deal that's worth it, and the bike is in great condition, and it was owned by somebody who you know takes good care of their bikes, it's kind of a no-brainer. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think you need to buy all your bikes new. By all means, if you have the funds and you do want a new bike, go and buy that new bike from Giant. The one Giant Trance costs $4,000. It is beautiful. It is amazing. It has carbon wheels. The whole thing is carbon. The best components, hydraulic disc brakes. But you know, if you don't have $4,000 to spend, go look around on some used websites, and you can probably get a Giant Trance that's 3 years old for maybe under $2,000 or something like that.
Yeah, like Marketplace, like Facebook Marketplace,
Yeah,
Craigslist,
that kind of stuff.
I'm sure, yeah.
And
Absolutely.
Giant Trance is like a top level mountain bike. Like, you don't have to go that far either. Like,
Right.
the Top Fuel is you know, standard entry level dual suspension. So you can get yourself a used Top Fuel, I don't know, for maybe under $1,000.
All right. Tell us a little bit about Stru.
A Stru is a bike, ski, and swim shop. I guess they kind of encompass all those things in one. When you walk into the store, it's located on 73. I guess right across from Estelli's, if you know where that is. If you live in Marlton, if you're listening to this podcast in New Jersey.
Marlton, New Jersey, 08053.
Yeah, we're located in South Jersey, and you know, everything from skis and snowboards to cycling shoes and gravel bikes, and all the components, apparel, gloves, everything you need is probably here at Astru. Yeah, check them out on Instagram at Astru Sports or their website, astru.com. It's AISTRIU.
Oh, wow, I actually didn't know how to spell it. When you started spelling it, I was like, well, I mean, that's true. Yeah. But no, all right, that's awesome. Well, I just wanted to give them a quick shout out, by the way. It's true, awesome people. I'm gonna go by there and ride soon. I think, hopefully, on the road riding, if that's what you call it. So hopefully we get that set up soon. But thanks everybody for tuning in. Sorry, we kind of went like from Yosemite to like a questionnaire, but that's just kind of where it took us this time. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.